On September 2nd, candidate Dan Christofouli filed a police report naming me and Mr. Anonymous. In that report, he alleged that after a council meeting, we threatened him and yelled at him and followed him to his car. 3 days later, on September 5th, he repeated those claims in a recorded video posted on Facebook stating, "Two of Councilman Smallwood's supporters heckled and threatened me as I left council chambers, and one followed me to my car."
I'm somebody who, yes, goes to municipalities. Some of you are probably wondering, why is he still here? When you start to get to know the personalities a little bit, you start to get a lot of feedback, it starts becoming very intriguing. He's a political agitator. A political agitator. You know what? You know what's good for elected officials? Agitation. It makes good elected officials. Public nuisances? Yeah, we'll get to figure out real quick who everybody is and what they stand for.
The 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Is nobody? I agree with you. 3 minutes is too short.
Bullying Democratic candidates at council meetings because they don't agree with you is not leadership. Serving a wealthy sliver of the Summit population while paying lip service to the majority is not democracy. It's plutocracy. All these examples smack of cues taken from this cruel MAGA administration.
We saw a real-life local example of that last week when Together for Summit sent out a despicable postcard filled with lies and slander that shocked and disgusted our community. On that mailer were the words, "Summit deserves leaders who respect the truth, not candidates who weaponize the police and press to silence critics."
But I want to address your comments that you've ignored 2 emails that I sent you. And look at me, I'm right here. Not to the attorney, to me. I'm a resident. Now, I hold people accountable when I come up to the meetings. Public service is a wonderful thing. So for you saying what you said does more damage than you can possibly know. An apology goes a long way.
We just tried to continue to do the right thing for our town. So thank you. I thank you. There's thousands of residents that thank you. And I hope you win this fall because you deserve it. And I know that you will continue to make this town better for the next 40 years.
You all represent your constituencies. There's plenty of people here who feel much better represented by Delia than by Michelle in Ward 1, and there's a lot of people who feel the other way. That's the American way. Some of us are on one side, the others are on the other.
Last week, or last council meeting, I talked about how disturbed I was by Dan Christofouli's police statements to the police, and the false statements to the police, and that I didn't think the city was taking it seriously enough, and I don't. So now we have 2 candidates from one party that are literally going to the police and giving them false information about people. Now, we need to get rid of party politics locally. If there's any way you can get rid of parties, because Claire, you're not even looking when people are talking, you're down on your thing the whole time. I think that we could all agree that that kind of behavior is unacceptable, and people shouldn't be doing this. But you can't say that because they're your party.
I've lived in this town for 25 years, and I don't ever remember politics being like this, ever. And I don't know if this is the leadership at the top, at the SMDC, or what it is, but there is something very toxic in the air.
We are in Summit, New Jersey, back for another council meeting. This will be the last meeting before Dan has an opportunity to either be graced with winning a elected spot or be shunned for the liar that he is. And I don't think he's got a chance. 2 days ago, the SMDC, the Democrats here in Summit, they took my video of my interaction with Dan and they edited it up and they pieced it together and framed it in this whole sense of me being a political agitator. and tried to tie me to the Republican Party. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I no longer accept the concept of one side is more corrupt than the other. Both sides are entirely corrupt, and this government, the government in general, has done a great job pinning each other, everybody against each other. You know, people, when they say, oh, I'm not looking forward to going to Thanksgiving, you know, you got to be with the in-laws or you got to be with the family who have different political positions. These are the moments we're supposed to enjoy the most. Things like Thanksgiving and Christmas time, getting together with the family. But everybody is just at war with each other. We are literally in a civil war because both parties are corrupt. I'm here tonight to talk about free speech and restricted speech. Unfortunately, I only have 3 minutes. And I'm not going to ramble to appease them to try to get all my comments in. I just don't have enough time to mention all of the things that I need to talk about. Considering the fact that I've been here for about 8 months or so, everything that's led up to this meeting tonight, I only have 3 minutes to dive into it, to try to make my case for the fact that I caught this man lying, and then they're using the same footage to clip it together to call me a political agitator and try to tie me to the Republican Party. The last meeting on September 3rd, when Dan went to the police, I submitted a formal complaint to the Republican Majority Council over their conduct and procedures of meeting for being in non-compliance with New Jersey law. How could I be aligned with the Republicans? Why would I do that if later on that meeting I supposedly threatened him and harassed him? Why, as a member of the Free Press, I asked him if he would ask questions, if he would answer a question about his candidacy. And they didn't even say no. And the reason why is because the Democrats can't talk their emotions out. They know they feel a certain way, but they can't articulate it. And that's a big problem. That means you've been brainwashed. If you can't talk aloud and explain why you feel the way you do, you just know you feel something, right? Talk about not utilizing your free speech, right? And now on the Republican side, we have Donald Trump, who in the stroke of a pen tried to revise the First Amendment by criminalizing flag banning. And I'm not going to burning the flag is a pussy move. It's a pussy move. But cheering on the criminalization of it is even more anti-American than burning the flag. This is how the erosion of the First Amendment starts, little by little. In 1986, Texas versus Johnson, this is when the Supreme Court, after that case, decided that flag burning fell under the First Amendment, right to free speech. Then Congress in 1989 came up with the Flag Act to try to recriminalize burning the flag. And the Supreme Court shot it down again. And then back in August, Donald Trump tried to revise the First Amendment by criminalizing flag burning. And just because it's a pussy move doesn't mean you cheer along for the criminalization of it. This is what free speech is all about. You have to have the ability to support somebody's right to say or do things that you don't agree with. So we've got a lot of problems. We've got a lot of problems nationally, and then it reduces down to states, which reduces down to counties, which reduces down to municipalities. Then we have Donald Trump talking about banning Antifa. Banning Antifa. Now, Antifa, and that's another pussy move, deciding that you want to be a part of Antifa. To me, that's my opinion, right? But you don't ban groups of people who speak out against the government. You can't cheer along banning groups of people, because guess what? Guess what? In short time, I'll be Antifa, because I go around in municipalities with my camera, filming, asking the tough questions, right? And then before you know it, I'm banned. They can criminalize my actions by putting me in a terrorist organization because I ask questions. I utilize the freedom of speech and freedom of the press. And these rights we will no longer have if the general public cheers along the criminalization of these acts. People have to be very responsible about what they're doing and what they're feeling, because they know they feel a certain way, and then they just project from their feelings. No critical thinking. And that's another problem, because the educational system in this country, because that's where it starts off. That's where people are failed early on, right? Schools don't teach people to critically think. So we have a lot of problems in this country. We have a lot of problems here in Summit. We're going to be talking about free speech. We're going to be talking about restricting speech. And again, I only have 3 minutes. So if you guys can tell, I'm a little upset. I'm a little heated, because it is of grave concern that this country go in the direction that's best for all of us. Because for some reason, with politics, they figured out a way to make everybody be a part of it. You must pick a side. This way, when we ban the other side, we can at least have people support it. So it's very, very important that people are responsible with how they go about these things. You have to have the ability to disagree with things you don't like, but allow it, but support it. You can't ban things. You know, part of the clip that they made, this video that the SMDC, the Summit Democrats, made to try to shame me and call me a political agitator, they shamed the council for not restricting my ability to go up to the podium and speak. Like, what? Like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna accept the fact that there's gonna be a million things that I'm not able to address because of the time frame, because of the restricted speech. So yeah, I'm a little upset tonight, but we're gonna get into it all tonight. We're gonna get into it all. This is my opinion. You cannot decide that you're a part of one political party in this country and not be willing to call out the bullshit coming from it, right? I was excited about this guy, Kash Patel, being the FBI director. This is the worst FBI director in the history of this country, right? I watched a thing recently where he was on the news and he's talking about the Charlie Kirk incident and how they're doing the investigation, and there's people online who are causing difficulty by spreading misinformation and this and that. So he called them anarchists.
There's enough evidence. But the reality is, again, with social media, when you have hysterical conspiracy theories filling the void, you're harming Charlie and his family and a rightful prosecution of his alleged assassin, who we have in custody, and rightly so, in my opinion. Us standing silent in the face of growing conspiracy theories, that's what we do to shut down a faulty prosecution. That's what we do to shut down a system of justice that wants to be exploited by these same anarchists. And that's what they're doing. They're bringing it to social media. They're bringing it online for clickbait, and we're not going to take it.
This is the same guy who was making a living appealing to the same audience, us, the people who watch these videos, so people can ask these important questions. I mean, I don't think everybody's paying attention. I really don't. But we are at a very grave crossroads in our times, and we cannot support the criminalization of free speech. We cannot support the criminalization of groups that are against the government. It doesn't matter what side you align with. You are being irresponsible if you are not willing to call out the side that you claim to be a part of. How could you be a Democrat and have your fellow Democrats laugh at the death of a man who stood for free speech? How could you not call them out as another Democrat? I mean, people are not doing their part. Would you want to be associated with a group of people who embarrass you? I mean, that's a big part of whatever you call when you are a part of a community. You have to be willing to call out people of your community who are making an embarrassment for the rest of us. And that's party politics all day. But yeah, man, I'm heated. I'm heated tonight. I'm upset. I'm very upset that I only have 3 minutes tonight, considering all the things that I need to address. It's the last meeting before Summit decides whether or not Dan's going to be elected. And I know they're going to make the right decision because they're not idiots. People are intelligent. You can't treat them like fools. You can't just put together a couple little clips of something and just, package it and put it out there and expect people to buy it. It's got to make sense. It's got to have a purpose, right? You know, that's why there's a lot of young men who are leaving the Democratic Party, and they're shifting to being a Republican, because the Republicans with Charlie Kirk's assassination, he showed that he was willing to die for a purpose. Free speech was important enough for him to die for. What the fuck does the left offer? What kind of purpose do they have for young men? What are they willing to die for? Fucking pizza on food stamps on Snap? Hey, how are you? I'm live, just so you know.
Oh, good. I don't know.
Why
Everybody
you-
here sucks. Everyone sucks.
Yeah, this is Dory. Dory's the
Sucks.
best.
Yes.
And she's right. Everybody does suck. And
They're all angry.
they're all angry. I just
Angry.
told all the viewers, like, I have so
They're
much I
always
need
angry.
to. So
And
much
now they're
stuff I need
attacking
to
me
get
like
to.
I'm a council person. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Dory,
I know, right?
they
They got my
Councilwoman.
Oprah my email. Like, why?
No, the Councilwoman Michelle shamed her from the dais.
Yeah.
The last
she
meeting.
slandered me.
Slandered and defamed her.
Why? I'm just a
She's not, even,
resident.
she's not even running.
I'm a
I
resident.
was slandered and defamed. I'm not running. I got
Why
no
are we
stake in it.
slandered and defamed? We're just like
I have no
people,
dog in the fight.
right?
They're telling me I'm aligned with the Republican Party. At the last meeting where I supposedly threatened Dan, I filed a complaint against the Republican majority council.
I know you
And
came
these
here to
idiots-
attack the Republicans.
The whole see, I was attacking the Republicans meeting after meeting, and until I dealt with the restricted speech from the Summit Democrats Facebook page, then everything went haywire, because they know they feel
They're
something,
liars.
but they can't talk about their feelings, because the Democratic Party just feels something. And if you can't talk about the way you feel, you've been
They block them.
brainwashed.
They block everybody. They're trying to silence me. That's what they're doing, because I have a
They-
voice. We have voices. See,
And that's what they did to Charlie Kirk.
right?
They silenced him
They
for
silenced him.
his free speech.
I know. Maybe we
And-
should be escorted out.
Maybe I should have. That's one of the things I want to talk about tonight.
We need an escort.
I don't even want to say it to you. You're gonna hear it
I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna
when
wait.
it
I have to
happens.
stay
Yeah,
on.
but they yeah, I'm just upset that I'm not going to be able to. I only have 3 minutes, so I'm really upset that I'm not going to be able to address nearly close to anything like what I need to say. So I'm not going to ramble through it.
They're gonna say we're friends now.
What the fuck is this all about? So we're gonna.
Rachel Kramer, 88 Elm Street, Summit, New Jersey. I'm here tonight to talk about honesty and accountability and to ground my statement in facts, hopefully for the last time. On September 2nd, candidate Dan Christofoli filed a police report naming me and Mr. Anonymous. In that report, he alleged that after a council meeting, we threatened him and yelled at him and followed him to his car. 3 days later, on September 5th, he repeated those claims in a recorded video posted on Facebook stating, 2 of Councilman Smallwood's supporters heckled and threatened me as I left council chambers, and 1 followed me to my car. On September 7th, the Summit Democratic Committee amplified this narrative by sharing a link to an article publicly thanking the police for investigating the matter. A couple of months ago, Bob made an honest mistake. He apologized privately for that mistake. It wasn't enough. Candidate Jacqueline Lasaracina came to the council meeting talking about what that mistake did to her and what that mistake did to her reputation and her family. She demanded public accountability from Bob, asked me to delete my Facebook post, which I did. And she talked about the weight of those statements, because when a public person or political person says something, there's a weight to it. And I started thinking about that when I was, thinking about Dan's police report. When a political candidate lies to the police calmly, deliberately, and on camera, it doesn't just hurt the target of the lie. It begins to undermine the trust in our institutions, in our democracy, and finally, in our justice system. So I knew that these claims weren't true, but I felt fear. I thought about my family, my job, and my safety, because even a lie, when told loudly and repeatedly, can take on a life of its own. People did ask me about what happened. They wondered if it might be true, and that's the harm. That seed of doubt is exactly what was intended when Dan said he was threatened and followed to his car. So to protect myself and my family, I had to obtain the police report and the video footage. And the evidence could not be clearer. No one yelled at Dan, no one threatened Dan, and no one followed him to his car. So no resident should ever have to worry that asking a political candidate a question could result in a false police report being filed against them, or that asking candidates to adhere to memorandums of understanding might result in low-level harassment claims. That's the real threat to public safety, not residents calling the police when they need help, but political candidates abusing law enforcement to intimidate or silence people who disagree with them. The chilling effect is real, and when residents see this happen, they
Ms.
think
Kramer,
twice
could you
about
finish up?
speaking up, out of fear for their reputations, their careers, or their family. That's not accountability, that's not leadership, and it's not the type of behavior we should reward with public office.
Thank you for your comments.
Anonymous. I have a lot to say, and I'm not going to be able to get to all of it, or even enough of it, unfortunately. So I'm not going to attempt to try to stumble and ramble over my own words, but there's a lot of things I want to talk about, and I'll start with, I guess, party politics in general, and what I've experienced from the political parties, and from coming into Summit and everything like that. I'm somebody who, yes, goes to municipalities. Some of you are probably wondering, why is he still here? When you start to get to know the personalities a little bit, you start to get a lot of feedback, it starts becoming very intriguing. And to see the video where showed my interaction with Mr. Cristofelli was just me asking questions. Member of the Free Press who identifies himself as the Free Press with his identifiable badge on, just simply asking questions and stuff like that. And then to see in that same video was used to make the Republican Party shame them for allowing free speech, for allowing somebody to come to meetings and speak. The same response of watching Mr. Cristofelli berate the chief for allowing him to speak. In the United States of America, they're allowing him? They're allowing him? The most interesting thing about that video, I thought, was the conversation happening after it. Not even the interaction that showed that Cristofelli lied. In my opinion, they make it so divisive.
Thank you.
Create this. I think you guys, I respect more about other towns. They do it everywhere. They do it everywhere. There's that actually sometimes they'll go over the line of violence sometimes. I'm not even kidding you. But I just I'll reach out if I have it. Yeah, all right, appreciate you, Mike. If you want to run for council, you shouldn't avoid questions. And maybe he doesn't take me seriously, and that's fine too. I won't hold that against him. But giving him the decency to say, no, I don't want to answer any questions, I was just saying to Mike, in my opinion, I think that divisiveness is coming on their end. But you hear me talk to Mr. McTurnan, and he's kind. After I belittled him and berated him, and he took it like a champ and was kind. And they think, oh, this is a scandal. Something's going on here. They're being nice to him. He's a political agitator. A political agitator. You know what? You know what's good for elected officials? Agitation. It makes good elected officials. Public nuisances? Yeah, we'll get to figure out real quick who everybody is and what they stand for. How dare them be nice to him? It must be something else going on. They surely can't be treating him like a human being. The same people who were happy that I was here giving you guys hell, the same people who loved it and was like, oh, it's the greatest thing. I love your videos. They're so awesome and they're entertaining and keep at it. The second I started asking questions about restriction, the restriction of speech of residents from the SMDC page, the second I started asking those questions, I started getting ridiculed. I started getting shamed publicly, privately. I was the one who was being harassed over and over. I mean, party politics has damaged the people have the inability to see what's happening around them. Surely something's constructed here. This can't be a guy who goes to towns and gives speeches and encourages others on his channel to do the same, to have a voice for themselves, to empower others to take part in the political process. I don't lean one side or the other. Someone asked me the other day, did you go to the No Kings rally? No, I go to meetings.
I take part in actual change. I don't participate in the fluff. I don't try to emotionally take something and get you where I'm at emotionally so you can understand.
Mr. Anonymous, can you
People
wrap it
need
up?
to explain their emotions so they can articulate it. Otherwise, they're brainwashed. And you need to speak about these things. And thank you for all speaking tonight.
Thank you for your comments.
Hi, my name is Joseph Brown. I reside at 27 Glenside Ave. So back in 2023, like she just said, when the bus stop, the train station, there's all homeless people. Well, there is a truth to this whole thing. I've seen the whole thing. That's the year I moved to Summit. I've seen the whole thing. I've seen the homeless people. I was working at the hospital, Morristown Medical Center. I've seen these homeless people. I've seen everything. That's when I started talking to this community of Summit. That's when I started to step in and get involved. I'm not on council. I'm not one of you guys. I'm not the mayor of Summit. I'm just a normal community member, just like everyone else here. We're all family. We might not know each other, but we sleep, we eat, we breathe, we go to work, we go to school. Miss nobody. I might not know you. I might not know you, but you might be friends. But yes, brothers. You come to this council meeting too. But we all family here. But back in 2023, I seen all these homeless people, and I sat down next to them. When I found out what Delia did was deal with the homeless people, I didn't know Delia actually did that until the mayor told me about it. That's when I wanted to talk to Delia and know more. And then that's when I got involved more and more and more. I sat next to these homeless people day in, day out. Outside of work, outside of school. Sat next to these guys. I found out what their needs were. I got them what they need. Clothes, when the winter time comes. I talked to the younger generation. Show the younger generation this is what's going on in our community. Open their eyes up to the bigger picture. So now, as of now, there are 4 homeless people now on our streets. It used to be 1, but there are 4. The 4 individuals that I have on the street right now are all at the library. They come and go as they please. The pictures that we get every day helps us out because it shows us what's going on. Because we're not there all the time. We all have our normal lives. We go to work, we got families. Then I gotta go to work. I don't have time day in, day out to see this stuff. But with community help, it helps us out by knowing this stuff. With you,
Yeah. Mr. Brown, can you wrap it up, please?
okay. But it's 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's nobody. I agree with you. 3 minutes is too ignore.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your comments.
I agree with you. 3 minutes to ignore.
That's great.
Any other comments from the public?
Monique Taylor, 167 Passaic Avenue. Since the Republicans seem to wallow in revisionist history regarding BSW while whining about censorship from the SMDC, let's take a walk down memory lane, shall we? It's the summer of 2023. A Pride family-friendly event had been scheduled with a black drag performer known as Queen Camilla. A few of their homophobic constituents decide to complain about the performer's adult social media presence. Their treasurer, Tina O'Connor, posts in Neighborhood for Summit stating that Delia Hamlet had the drag show canceled and was, quote, grateful that a diligent councilperson got him fired, unquote, while also referring to the performer as a pedophile and a pervert. After going to City Hall and fighting to keep the drag show, which was canceled by the former city administrator, Mike Rogers, and raising awareness online with concerned citizens, I was served a cease and desist letter from Delia, threatening me with a defamation lawsuit, when it was her Republican treasurer that told everyone that Delia was responsible. A subsequent Oprah request revealed that both she and Lisa Allen were not only responsible for his firing, but that Delia was hiring an attorney because, in Lisa's words, quote, they are walking the line of defamation, unquote. Not for the Republican treasurer, but for me. Now ours are complaining about censorship by the SMDC while issuing threats of lawsuits to Summit residents to silence the truth and dissent. Bullying Democratic candidates at council meetings because they don't agree with you is not leadership. Serving a wealthy sliver of the Summit population while paying lip service to the majority is not democracy, it's plutocracy. All these examples smack of cues taken from this cruel MAGA administration, and it is why, I know it's so funny, and it is why Summit needs a change in November for a return to sanity. Please vote Jackie, Chantal, and Dan for City Council. And I will submit this for months. So.
Thank you for your comments.
You're welcome. And if anyone else wants to see these notes, I'm good. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak from the public?
Tracy Keegan. I'm a resident of Summit. I've lived here since 1994. One of the lessons we've learned about Republicans since 2016 is that every accusation is actually a confession. And we saw a real-life local example of that last week when Together for Summit sent out a despicable postcard filled with lies and slander that shocked and disgusted our community. On that mailer were the words, "Summit deserves leaders who respect the truth, not candidates who weaponize the police and press to silence critics." Well, for once, I agree with you. It's true that your party has weaponized the police for the past 2 years, Oprahing 911 calls, including mine, and police reports filed by residents who believed public safety was being threatened. But that's not why I'm here tonight. I'm here because of the other part of that postcard, the part about using the press to silence critics. Because that is exactly what happened to me earlier this year. In February, the Tap into Summit editor blocked me from commenting on TAP articles. He and I spoke by phone on February 27th for 2 hours and 14 minutes. What he shared during that call was deeply disturbing. Here are a few direct excerpts. Quote, "You're a problem for all these guys, all of them. They take screenshots. They take your screenshots. Patrick Nash, Nick Curiel, all of them have sent me stuff. The Republicans send me every frickin' thing you say about me. All the time they send me things you write. One of the Republicans sent me something you wrote. People have sent me things you said about me. A month or 2 months into it, you know, one of the Republicans, hey, here's what Tracy said about you. I talked to Lisa Allen an hour ago because you called me Monday night. Apparently you drove her over the grave and she quit. Yeah, she quit because of you. Delia Hamlet texted me and said every time I put a post out, Tracy is disagreeing with me. Like, Delia's all weirded out by you. Like, why are you doing that to her? I've talked to Delia about this. She said, to be quite honest with you and me personally, I'm ready to talk to my boss, Mike Shapiro, about you. You're tagging Delia's posts, saying that we have some unholy alliance where Delia is telling me to block you from Tap Into. Now, by the way, Kevin Smallwood, after an hour and a half yesterday, showed me and said, here's what's going on. I looked at it. It was from you. He said, this is from Tracy. It was a screenshot, apparently. This went on for more than 2 hours. We would be here all night if I shared everything he said to me. This illustrates a disturbing willingness by Republican elected officials and leaders to target voices they disagree with. This has no place in Summit. and no place in a democracy. Summit, we can do better. And since I have a few seconds, I just want to point out, filing a police report is a crime. So if that happened, there would be charges filed. Number 2, there's no cameras in the parking lot. Number 3, there were 60 homeless people that was reduced to 24.
Thank you. Could you wrap it up, please,
And 18 were
Ms.
in active
Keegan?
case management by the time the Republicans were elected. Thank you.
Hi, Dory Gagnon, 27 Bedford. I want to thank all of you for being volunteers. I've been a volunteer my whole life in healthcare. That's why I'm on the Board of Health. And I love volunteering. I've helped with the homeless. I've worked in underserved communities for the last 15 years. So to roll up your sleeves like Ms. Hamlet has done, I've met many that are here. You know, I thank everybody on the Homelessness Task Force and everyone in the city who's watching for helping, because it's not just you guys, so thank you. But I want to address your comments that you've ignored 2 emails that I sent you. And look at me, I'm right here. Not to the attorney, to me. I'm a resident.
Ms. Gagnon, you're supposed to address the council president.
Sorry, through you, Council President. Your comments last week.
Dory left, but last meeting she accused me of several things. I see she toned it back today. But, you know, she mentioned recusal. One of the first things I did after I was sworn in was I reached out to Mr. Jacob, and we discussed the situation, and he, you know, said, let me look into it, let me do some research, and he wrote me a memo that said he didn't see any conflict of interest. So, you know, it's something I discussed with him earlier this year. Last week, she accused me or my husband of suing the city, of being part of that lawsuit, and that's not true. She knows that's not true because she was told that's not true. People called me the next day and they said, why didn't you say anything? Why'd you let her say that? And I said, well, it's Dory. She defames everyone. This is no different. But it wasn't true. She's defamed many people. So I'm just the latest person that she's defaming, but that's not true. And, you know, for her to say that she's mad about the way the neighborhood went about it.
She defames everyone. She defamed many people, as you were referring to me, Ms. Camlinson, if I even said that correctly, I apologize. After I left the council meeting, you were referring to me. Now, I hold people accountable when I come up to the meetings. And I think that's a great thing, because if I didn't hold this council accountable, we'd have Broad Street West. And with Broad Street West, we'd have the pilot, we'd have a nightmare on our hands. And I made thousands and thousands of residents aware of what was happening here. And accountability is not a bad thing. Disagreeing is not a bad thing. Asking you to recuse yourself is not a bad thing. It's not defamation. I'm on boards. I had to take an ethics board to pass my license. So asking you to recuse yourself is not a bad thing. There's a lawsuit out. You know, what you said to me, just like what Rachel said before, I have a name to uphold. Okay, my name, people come up to me and they thank me for a lot of things that my family and I have done for them. Because I volunteer thousands and thousands of hours, give out hundreds of free health care throughout this entire state. I roll up my sleeves, just like Ms. Hamlet does. Public service is a wonderful thing. So for you saying what you said does more damage than you can possibly know. An apology goes a long way. I fought for oratory. I went to every board, planning board. I said I didn't want it, but I had to work with them. I gave you guys suggestions. I wasn't defaming you. I try to work with you guys. You are an elected official. You hold yourself at a higher standard.
Ms. Gagnon, can you wrap it up, please?
Just like everybody else does.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Council President. Tonight, I just want to come and say thank you to this council. Oh, sorry, Lisa Allen, 27 Plain Street. I just want to say thank you to this council. First of all, it was an honor through you, Council President, it was an honor to work with Councilman Boyer, Mayor Fagan, Councilwoman Hamlet, and Councilman Pulowski. You have done an extraordinary job in safety in this town. One of the biggest charges the night, I remember the reorg meeting and being up here, and the biggest concern people had was the safety in the town. And you have worked to do that. There was a lot of criticism on the RPO, and you had the courageous, brave stance to improve on the RPO that we passed that first year. I hesitated on the second RPO because I was concerned that it would disrupt our community even further. There was so much pushback. But you know what? You guys had I was almost saying something. You had the guts to do it. You had the guts to do it. And I want to thank you, because not everybody has guts to do it. And you can listen, which is very important. That's where leadership starts. But where leadership really hits the road is where it's in action. And you've taken some really big stances that have made actions in this town far beyond where we'll have a better town than when you go. So I want to say thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for working on pedestrian safety. I want to thank you, because I know I'm going to run out of time. I want to thank you for Ashwood and Morris making that development smaller. I know people aren't happy with it, but there is a 47-unit apartment building going up on River Road and Morris Avenue that everyone has forgotten that was passed in 2023. You fought up against Morris Avenue and Ashwood to make it smaller. Not because you're against affordable housing, because I know all of you are, because you're sitting there fighting for the housing authority every minute of the day. And Delia, you were the first one that sat with the unhoused individuals and humanized them. You humanized them, and you forced us all to understand how important their dignity was too. So thank you for making me a better councilwoman at the time. Thank you for helping this council be better, because you made us all better. And that's what leadership is. So, and I also just want to say really fast, because I have 40 seconds. Delia and I asked for a family-friendly drag queen, the same one that was hired year after year after year for 4 years. We just said, I won't even give the title of the Instagram of the one drag queen that they were going to bring in. And we said, listen, it's not family-friendly. Just bring someone in family-friendly, the same guy. We didn't fire anyone. We just tried to continue to do the right thing for our town. So thank you. I thank you. There's thousands of residents that thank you. And I hope you win this fall, because you deserve it, and I know that you will continue to make this town better for the next 40 years. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening, Diego Hoyk, Argyle Court. I want to thank all of you for your service. You all, almost all of you got elected, and you deserve to be appointed, Mike. You all represent your constituencies. There's plenty of people here who feel much better represented by Delia than by Michelle in Ward 1, and there's a lot of people who feel the other way. That's the American way. Some of us are on one side, the others are on the other. So I'm here to remind all of us that in a city where about 7,000 voters are available in each ward, approximately. So Michelle Kalmanson got 3,000 votes in Ward 1. So 3,000 people cast a vote for you, Michelle. I feel represented by you. I voted for you. I was not one of the 3,300 people who voted for Claire because I'm in the wrong ward for that. Bob, obviously I did not vote for you. You got 2,000 votes. Jamel got 2,200. Kevin, across all of Summit, got 4,000 votes. Delia, 2,200. Lisa, you got 2,600 votes. So all of you, and Mayor Fagan, I don't have the numbers, but you got a lot of. You want him? I'll get him. But you were pretty close to Kevin. My point here is that all of you represent different people. And the people who support one side may not agree with the other side, but all of you represent us. And in my particular case, Michelle really does represent me, and I really thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Kevin McGoey, Woodland Avenue. Hopefully this is the last time I have to speak here or wind up speaking here. Last council meeting, I talked about how disturbed I was by Dan Crisafilli's police statements to the police, and the false statements to the police, and that I didn't think the city was taking it seriously enough, and I don't. At the time, I had found out because Dan, in his speech to the police, said that another council member had also said that somebody had threatened them. I asked one of the other candidates if it was her. She didn't respond, so I opened it. I got the body cam footage. I got the information she provided to the police that they had. I got the police report and everything else, and I was shocked at what I saw. Not so much then, but after I got a series of emails of communication that she had with respect to the chair of the Republican Party. And it was very clear that in that, the chair of the Republican Party explained to her, I don't know if you guys have all seen the video and you've seen all of Jacqueline's emails, but it's very clear. On July 1st, when Jacqueline spoke with the police, she understood exactly why Nick Curiel took pictures of her front lawn with lawn signs, because both parties in agreement that wouldn't happen till Labor Day, and this was in June. She understood. She actually, in her conversation, brought up the fact that a former mayor actually had a brick thrown through his window and asked Mr. Curiel if he was aware of that. Mr. Curiel responded that he was aware of that. And as a matter of fact, after the last election, he had a rock thrown through his window. And, you know, Ms. Saracena responded, so sorry to hear that, it's unacceptable, what happened to your family, this and that. But that was from June 14th to June 17th, these emails were exchanged. On July 1st, she went to the police and said that she was very upset and disturbed by what Mr. Curiel took these pictures of her lawn because he was unhappy with their signs or something. And then she went on to another thing that he said was that he had a brick or a rock thrown through his window, and she didn't understand how that was relevant to the conversation or discussion they were having. And the police officer, because it is strange if you just said that out of nowhere, said, was he trying to scare you? And she said, I don't know. She did know. She was trying to make it look like she was threatened and harassed. So now we have two candidates from one party that are literally going to the police and giving them false information about people. Now, we need to get rid of party politics locally. If there's any way you can get rid of parties, because Claire, you're not even looking when people are talking. You're down on your thing the whole time. I think that we could all agree that that kind of behavior is unacceptable, and people shouldn't be doing this. But you can't say that because they're your party. You're not even looking. You need to get rid of party politics.
Mr. McGoey, wrap it up, please.
But anyway, all right, thanks.
Thank you for your comments.
Hi, I know it's late. Amy DeCibio, 1 Essex Road. I don't want to rehash everything that everyone else has said, but I as well would like to thank the Together for Summit team. I think you guys have done a tremendous job. Unfortunately, I've lived in this town for 25 years, and I don't ever remember politics being like this, ever. And I don't know if this is the leadership at the top, at the SMDC, or what it is, but there is something very toxic in the air. And I am grateful for you guys that you come week in and week out and day out doing your job. And I apologize that our community doesn't always treat you so well. So thank you so much for everything you do, and I hope you keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Other comments from the public? Okay, if there's no further comments, I'm going to close public comment section.
I know it's election time, but I also can help thinking about my grandmother and watching soap operas. Like, it's like, wow, you know, it's like Days of Our Lives. I got a flashback, you know, like, rest in peace, Grandma. We, like, the Together for Summit thing, right? Maroon and gold. The Summit colors, by the way, are not maroon, gold, and white. I just want to let everybody know. It's maroon and gold. So just to be clear on that. But the idea behind it, though, is that it don't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. You know, I'm here for you. Like, I enjoy this stuff. And you have to have some thick skin being up here. Listen, this is the job, right? You think about it hard before you want to get this job. Think about it, right? It ain't easy. It ain't easy sitting up here taking criticism. But the criticism actually makes you better. It makes you better. Last but not least, I've said this before. I am a fan of this YouTube thing called Audit the Auditor, where they audit police officers, because I hold police officers to the highest esteem, and I think they all should follow the Constitution. So when Mr. Anonymous came in, I was like completely used to all of that because I watch Audit the Auditor. People have a right to come into meetings and say what they have to say. Just like you got a right, certain rights when you get pulled over, right? You have certain rights. And we expect that elected officials, our police officers and everyone are obeying your constitutional rights. It's important. And if you can't deal with it, don't take the job. Thank you, Council President. Sorry.
I would say that, you know, this election season has been a little tough. They all are. But I think the most important thing is that all of us as leaders work to make it better for the next time. We all have, all of us up here, Michelle, Claire, we're not of the same party, but, you know, Claire, I've known you for probably 15 years. Claire and I used to play golf together, and, you know, we've known each other for a long time. So I think, as Jamel said, it's our responsibility, excuse me, to change that culture. And I hope that everybody can do that, regardless of who's elected. I think that it's really important. It's bad. It's terrible for the municipal employees. And a lot of this is just a huge distraction from delivering municipal services to our residents. It's hard to actually get people to want to work for municipal government. And when they see the infightings of Republican and Democrat parties, and, you know, the reality is, I've got a lot of Republicans, like I said, who are mad at me for Canoe Brook Parkway and a lot of other things. Whether they still vote for me, that's up to them. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm trying to do what's right for the majority of residents on every issue, regardless of political party. That's what a good elected official does. So I would say that, you know, I look at all of us, Claire, Michelle, Jamel, you know, to work together towards changing that culture. It's really, really important. And at some point, somebody just has to take control and say, we're going to stop. We're going to stop this nonsense. We're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to be neighbors. That's what elected officials should be doing right now.
You know, you do this job, and you know, you take a lot of incoming. It's part of the job, and I think a few people said it. It makes you better. It comes with the territory. Sometimes it's not so fun. One thing I will just say around representation, I think Diego, you talked about that a little bit. I don't look at it the same way. People up here represent everyone. If you don't, maybe you should think about why you're here. You know, I know everybody up here thinks that way. Everyone, RD, it doesn't matter. That's why you're here. We represent everyone. And I wish, I've said this on numerous occasions, that our local politics could calm down. To me, it's crazy. It's nuts. No one should spend as much time on local politics and being frantic and crazed about it as we do. It's not healthy. Hug your kid. Go to a soccer game. Do something instead of typing on Facebook the entire time. It's nuts. That being said, I get it. You know, people get passionate about things. We have a couple more weeks. Go out and vote. Everyone should vote. It's a lot of places in the world you don't get that right. We do. Express your opinion peacefully through the ballot box. It is the best way to promote your views. I'm going to end it there. You guys can say anything you want to them.
It's on the streets where shadows creep behind closed doors, secret sleep. Bungalows eyes are razor sharp. He'll cut through lies, tear them apart. No donkey, no elephant safe tonight. He's a wrecking ball with truth inside. Unholy, don't care about red or blue. If you're breaking the law, he's coming for you. Politicians squirm, they can't outwit. Except Hamlet, she's too legit and damn good looking too. He don't need votes, he don't play games.
Stop, don't cut me off!
Councilman,
don't cut me off!
Behind your smile, he'll find the grime. No backroom scheme escapes his time. Your party badge won't save your skin. If you're dirty, he's diving in. Unholy, don't care about red or blue. If you're breaking the law, he's coming for you. Politicians squirm, they can't outwit. Except Hamlet, she's too legit and damn good looking too. And damn good looking too. He don't need votes, he don't play games. Shady deals, he's naming names. Behind your smile, he'll find the crime. No backroom scheme escapes his time. Your party badge won't save your skin. If you're dirty, he's diving in. Unholy, don't care about red or blue. If you're breaking the law, he's coming for you. Politicians squirm, they can't outwit. Except Hamlet, she's too legit and damn good looking too. And damn good looking too. And damn good looking too. Damn good looking too.